Welcome to the Meditation Realm, Planeswalkers. I'm Caleb, your guide through the Blind Eternities, and in today's video we have one of the commander decks from March of the Machine. Today we're going to go through the growing threat of the Phyrexians. These commander decks are pretty sweet in that they've got the new Plane Chase cards in them. You get 10 Plane Chase cards, 5 new ones, 5 old ones, and they still have the collector sample pack as well. I think these decks have fewer new cards compared to the last ones that came out, but still some great value in these commander decks. I've been telling a lot of people that getting the commander decks with the sample packs really is a big hit because you get some random good stuff in those sample packs. So, let's see, we'll go through the Plane Chase cards here real quick. I'll give you a nice little sleeve to keep them in. And if you've never played Plane Chase, it's quite a fun format. So our first card here is the Phenomenon, Spatial Merging. When you encounter Spatial Merging, reveal cards from the top of your planar deck until you reveal 2 plane cards. Simultaneously planeswalk to both of them. Put all cards revealed this way on the bottom of your planar deck in any order. Right on. So you play multiple, if you have multiple Phenomenons and planes, you can play this, and when it gets revealed, get to simultaneously be on 2 planes at once. It's pretty sweet. We have the plane Iquitana. Definitely haven't been there yet. The Aetherflux is the location. When you planeswalk to the Aetherflux hand at the beginning of your upkeep, you may sacrifice a creature. If you do, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card. Put that card into the battlefield, then shuffle all the cards revealed this way into your library. That's pretty sweet. Whenever chaos ensues, you may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. So this looks like just a way to be able to cheat out big-ass creatures. I like that guy. Our next one here is Lorwyn. We've been here before. This is the Great Forest. Each creature assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. Welcome to Doranland. Whenever chaos ensues, creatures you control get +0/+2 and gain trample until end of turn. So this seems like a fun deck if you're playing Doran the Siege Tower or KDs or one of those other mini Defense Matters decks. Ooh, we're on Mirrodin now, the Panopticon. When you planeswalk to Panopticon, draw a card. At the beginning of your draw step, draw an additional card, so all the value. And when chaos ensues, draws a card. So on Mirrodin, apparently in the Panopticon, all you do is draw. Card advantage. Right on. Undercity Reaches, this is Ravnica. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to a player, its controller may draw a card. Whenever chaos ensues, you have no maximum hand size for the rest of the game. Well, that's a long-lasting effect. The rest of the game effects are always strong. We're on Theros. We're in Nyx. Non-token creatures are enchantments in addition to their other types. And this has Constellation. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. Whenever chaos ensues, choose a color, add an amount of mana of that color equal to your devotion of that color, or to that color. Woo! That can get incredibly big quick. Because you spend mana to roll more chaos. Granted, you'll have diminishing returns because you have to spend more mana each time, but still, that could add up real quick. So we're on the plane, the Abyss. I think this is another one we haven't visited yet, and we're in the Pit. When you planeswalk to the Pit, each player creates their choice of a 3/3 white angel creature token with flying, or a 6/6 black demon creature token with flying, trample, and at the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice another creature. If you can't, this creature deals 6 damage to you. Whenever chaos ensues, each player sacrifices a non-artifact creature. So this seems like a hellscape. Interesting. Wonder where we'll get to visit there. So we're on Alara now. Plane of Alara in the section of Esper. Artifact spells cost 1 less to cast. Whenever chaos ensues, creatures you control that are white, blue, and or black become artifacts in addition to their other types until end of turn. Then each artifact creature you control gains Vigilance, Menace, and Lifelink until end of turn. Ooh, so this will be really strong for those artifact-based decks in those games. So we're going to go to Amonkhet here. We have Noctamoon. Each creature card in your graveyard has Embalm. Its Embalm cost is equal to its mana cost. And whenever chaos ensues, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. So it's got the rummage effect to be able to fill the graveyard, and then your creatures can embalm from the graveyard. That's strong. So now we're on the plane of Ikoria in the realm of Ketria. Whenever you planeswalk to Ketria and the beginning of your upkeep, put your choice of a Vigilance, Menace, or Trample counter on target creature you control. Whenever chaos ensues, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land permanent card. Put that card onto the battlefield or into your hand. Right on. So if it's something that's going to hurt you, you can just choose to put it into your hand. Let's see, we got the usual commander deck, the little poster, those spin down life counters for people who need those. Although at this point, I highly recommend just getting actual dice. And of course, these are also each one of these commander decks comes with the much needed plane chase dice, because otherwise it's kind of hard to use those plane chase decks. Alright. And this one has a few more punch out tokens, which I get. 1/1 counter, menace, vigilance, trample. It's got some other little punch outs in the back. And then you got your deck box. So it's got all the usual stuff that we expect from the commanders. And now we'll take a look at the actual cards in this, and then we'll save that collector sample pack for the last. Alright, so we got the face of the deck here. We got Brimaz, who's been completed. He is the Blight of Oreskos. He's a 3/4 for 2 black and a white. Whenever you cast a Phyrexian creature or artifact spell, creature spell specifically, incubate X, where X is that spell's mana value. And at the beginning of each end step, if a Phyrexian died under your control this turn, proliferate. So it allows you to incubate a bunch of tokens and make the counters on them big, and then buff all your other stuff too. This will be an interesting mechanic. I like him a little more, personally, as trying to play the commander. Moira and Teshar. A 4/5 flyer for 3 black and a white. Whenever you cast a historic spell, return target non-land permanent card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste. Exile it at the beginning of the next end step. If it would leave the battlefield, exile it instead of putting it anywhere else. So it's an interesting card. I think it's going to see some play as a commander and can be really kind of busted. So those are the 2 faces that you can choose from for the deck. And then we got some good reprints here. Bojuka Bog's always nice. I think that's a kind of a black staple at this point. And then some. I like the Fractured Power Stone that they're putting in the commander decks for these. If you play Plane Chase, this is just going to be an absolute staple. It's a 2-drop mana rock, which is always good. Mana ramp is important for every commander deck, and 2 is like the best spot you can be at, besides 1 mana with Soul Ring type cards. And this is comes in, you can automatically tap it for mana, and you can just tap it to roll the planar die. Both good effects. We'll go through our reprints here. Night's Whisper is always a great draw. I highly recommend playing that in every black deck, just about. Some artifact ramp here, which for black-white makes sense. There's only so much white ramp that's worth playing that they're going to include in these commander decks. There's some good ones now that they've printed, but you're not going to see Smothering Tithe in a commander deck. You're going to see things like Burnished Tard and Mana Rocks. Let's see if we can get to our new cards here soon. What are the old reprints? So we got Ichor Elixir. All right, so here's one. 4-drop artifact. If you would roll 1 or more planar dice, instead roll that many planar dice plus 1 and ignore 1. And it's a mana rock that adds 2. We've got Blight Titan. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, mill 2 cards, then incubate X, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. We have a Darksteel Splicer. It's a 1/1 for 7, 6 and a white. When Darksteel Splicer or another non-token Phyrexian enters the battlefield under your control, create X 3/3 colorless golem artifact creature tokens, where X is the number of opponents you have, and golems you control have indestructible. Okay, so that's actually not bad. So for 7 mana in a 4-player game, you're going to immediately get 3 3/3s. So you're getting 10, 4 bodies and 10 power and toughness for 3 mana, and each other non-token Phyrexian that you play afterwards creates multiple 3/3s. So this guy could actually be pretty strong, especially if you can cheat him in. I think this is going to become a staple white removal going forward. It's a 3-drop instant for 1 and 2 white. Exile target non-land permanent. Its controller incubates X, where X is its mana value. So, where it stands in the Beast Within type generous gift type world, I think it's a little better at exiling, and you incubate a token. So it could technically be smaller than 3. It could be larger than 3 power and toughness, but they got to spend mana to actually turn it into a creature too, which is relevant. We got Filigree Vector. When it enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on each of any number of target creatures and a charge counter on each of any number of target artifacts. You can pay 1 to sacrifice another artifact to proliferate, and it's a 1/1 for 3 and a white. You can see okay. Path of the Schemer, it's a 5-drop sorcery for 4 and a black. Each player mills 2 cards. Then you put a creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. It's an artifact in addition to its other types. And Will of the Planeswalkers, starting with you, each player votes for Planeswalk or Chaos. If Planeswalk gets more votes, Planeswalk. If Chaos gets more votes, or the vote is tied, Chaos ensues. So another one that's really basically only relevant if you're going to play Plane Chase, otherwise it's probably a card that can sit out of the 99. Bitterthorn, Nissa's Animus, another one of the better cards in these commander decks. It's a legendary artifact, equipment, 3-drop. It is a living weapon. It's a equipped creature gets +1/+1. Whenever a equipped creature attacks, you may search your library for a basic land card, put it into the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle. And it's equipped 3. Really strong card. I see this seeing a lot of play in decks going forward. The fact that it comes in, it's a 3-drop equipment that's living weapon, so it's got a body attached to it already. It can just start attacking, or you can start spending mana if that creature dies. Really good, absolutely. It's just like Sword of the Animus. It's just a really strong equipment worth playing. Vulpine Harvester, or Vulpine, however it's pronounced. 3 and a white creature, 3/3. Whenever one or more Phyrexians you control attack, return target artifact card from your graveyard to the battlefield if its mana value is less than or equal to their total power. Right on. So this lets you be able to kind of reanimate artifacts from your graveyard. It's a Phyrexian itself, so it can start reanimating 3 drops or less, and then once you've got other guys on the board, start reanimating more. I can definitely see this in play. And now we're back to some of the reprints here. Cataclysmic Gearhulk always sees play in some of these decks. Massacre Worm, that's a nice mythic to have in here. That's a big bomb, definitely wipes out boards. Destroys the token-based decks. Triniform's another one of those interesting, massive token creators. I guess it only creates 3, but still, it's a big dude. It dies, makes 3, encore, make more. So we got some big artifact dudes to go in here. Angel of Ruins is a staple, I believe, for white decks for the most part. It's a big creature that comes in, it exiles up to 2 artifacts under enchantments, and really early in the game you can just plain cycle it away. Also good for reanimator decks, because you get to spend 2 mana, cycle it away, get a land, reanimate this on turn 3, get rid of 2 of your opponent's enchantments or artifacts. I like this guy quite a bit. I highly recommend playing him if you're looking for artifact and enchantment removal, and it's a good creature, 100%. Good old Blade Splicer, some of those golem guys. And I feel like the mana bases have definitely gotten a lot better on these 2-color decks. They start giving you some better cards. The filter lands, Karn's Bastion, those types of things, all are really good. Snarl, Spire, Temple, Vault. Ooh, I like the art on that Yawgmoth's Vial Offering. That's new. That's very sweet. Like, if you get real close here, it looks like Yawgmoth is standing there with Urza and Mishra. I'm not sure what location this is. This is on a Yawgmoth itself from the lore, but man, that artwork is sweet. I really like that. Alright, get some other good reprints here. Yeah, I don't know about the Shattered Angel being a good reprint, but Soul Ring, sees play in every deck, obviously. Tainted Field, Talisman, Victimize. I don't know if they should. Some of these uncommons that they include from the new set sometimes I think are pretty weak to include. Like a 6-drop that draws you 2 cards and loses you 2 life. But again, it's a starter deck. They got to have some filler cards. It's one of those easy ones that you'll be able to replace for when you do a budget upgrade. Then we got the rest of our cards, our tokens, and our foil-etched thicker back card. Again, I like that they include these because you can just use this as the commander and actually use Brimaz and the 99 as something else if you really wanted to. Because maybe you want to play him in a Phyrexian Matters deck and have somebody else be your commander. Alright. Thank you again for joining me, Planeswalkers. Always glad to have you here. We'll check out this collector sample pack here. Whatever's going to be the easiest way to open it. There we go. Alright, what goodies can we get out of the sample pack today? We have Vivian's Talent in the foil. Nice. This is one of these new auras that enchant planeswalkers. So for 1 and 2 green, enchant planeswalker. Enchanted planeswalker has +1. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature or land from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a loyalty counter on enchanted planeswalker. Nice. I really like this. This could definitely, I think these auras could definitely see a lot of play, especially in the Planeswalker heavy Super Friends decks. But even still, just the focused effect in some other decks could be really strong. I definitely like it. And then for our uncommon one, we've got a Timurit, Chosen from Death in its showcase foil frame. Nice. Again, I really like these sample packs. You have a good opportunity to get some random cards that are pretty good. These I think these are going to see some play going forward. I wonder if it's going to be a new type of aura they're going to start doing more often. But we'll see. Thank you for joining me, Planeswalkers. Always glad to have you here. Like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you here in the next video.